In just 9 minutes, uncover the shocking truths behind DOGE, Trump's hidden influence, and the dismantling of USAID. Ezra Klein and Santi Ruiz expose how chaos is being used as a weapon, why some Republicans are uneasy, and whether democracy itself is at risk. Stay till the end for all 10 key takeaways. What you learn might change how you see the government forever. Takeaway 1. DOGE is not about efficiency. The Department of Government Efficiency, known as DOGE, has a name that makes it sound like a common-sense effort to improve how the government operates. However, its actual actions do not match the idea of making government more efficient. Instead of improving systems or reducing waste, DOGE has been aggressively cutting entire programs without clear replacements. Efficiency usually means doing more with less, but DOGE is simply doing less. It is removing functions without making them work better. The question is, what is the real goal? The people behind DOGE claim they want to eliminate fraud and reduce government waste, but their choices show a different agenda. They are not fixing broken systems, they are just shutting them down. For example, instead of reforming agencies like USAID to make them more accountable, DOGE has been working to shut them down entirely. This does not create a more efficient government. It just creates a government that does less, whether or not those functions were useful. Now let's move to the next takeaway. Takeaway 2, there is no master plan. One of the biggest surprises about DOGE is that it does not seem to have a clear, well-organized plan. Many assume that it had a detailed strategy to reshape the government, but in reality, its actions are inconsistent. Different people within DOGE have different ideas about what they are trying to achieve. This has led to chaotic decision-making and confusion, even among those who support it. At first, some believed DOGE was focused on reducing fraud and unnecessary spending. Others thought it wanted to make government programs more responsive to public needs. But as time goes on, it is becoming clear that there is no single goal guiding its actions. Instead, it is a collection of different agendas, sometimes contradicting each other. For example, one part of DOGE claims to be cutting programs to save money, but at the same time, it is increasing spending in areas that do not seem related to efficiency. This lack of consistency suggests that efficiency is not really the goal, but rather an excuse for making radical changes to the way the government works. Now let's move to the next takeaway. Takeaway 3, USAID was a target from day one. One of DOGE's most significant moves was dismantling the United States Agency for International Development, or USAID. This agency provides foreign aid to countries around the world, helping with issues like healthcare, disaster relief, and economic development. DOGE's official reason for cutting it was that it was wasteful, but many believe this decision had more to do with an ideological goal of pulling the U.S. back from international commitments. USAID has been a key tool for American influence abroad. By providing aid, the U.S. builds relationships with other nations and promotes stability. Cutting it not only reduces government spending, but also weakens America's role in global affairs. For example, USAID funding has helped with disaster relief in places like Haiti, where American aid has saved lives after earthquakes and hurricanes. With those programs shut down, these countries are left with fewer resources, which could lead to greater instability. Now let's move to the next takeaway. Takeaway 4, the ideology behind DOGE. DOGE's actions align closely with the beliefs of Russell Vought, one of the key figures driving its agenda. Vought follows a political theory called the unitary executive theory, which argues that the president should have near total control over the executive branch. This means fewer independent agencies and more direct influence from the White House. Under this ideology, departments that operate with some level of independence, like USAID or the Department of Justice, are seen as obstacles rather than essential parts of government. The goal is to reshape the government so that it follows the president's direction without resistance from career officials or experts. For example, instead of allowing government agencies to make decisions based on expert advice, Vaught's vision would allow the president to dictate policies directly. This could make government more responsive to election results, but it also means that policies could change dramatically with every new administration. Now let's move to the next takeaway. Takeaway 5, changing the code of government. DOGE is not just removing programs. It is fundamentally altering how the government works. It is rewriting the source code of government by changing its structure, cutting funding, and replacing key officials. These changes could have long-term consequences that may be difficult to reverse. When a government agency is eliminated, bringing it back is not as simple as flipping a switch. If an agency like USAID is shut down, future administrations would have to rebuild it from scratch, which could take years. This means that even if DOGE is later removed, its impact may last for decades. For example, cutting funding for regulatory agencies could lead to fewer safety inspections for things like food and medicine. Even if a future administration restores funding, the damage done in the meantime, such as loss of expertise and institutional knowledge, could be significant. We're halfway through the video. Thank you for sticking with us this far. If you're enjoying it, please give us a thumbs up and share it in your WhatsApp groups. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so feel free to comment below. To see more videos like this, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Now let's continue with the video. Takeaway 6. Some Republicans are uncomfortable with this. Not everyone on the right supports DOGE's approach. Some conservatives believe in reducing government spending, but they worry that DOGE is going too far. They fear that eliminating important agencies without alternatives will create chaos rather than efficiency. Traditional conservatives have long supported cutting waste, but many of them still see a role for government in essential functions like disaster response, national security, and infrastructure. Some of them believe that DOGE's actions are reckless and could backfire politically. For example, conservative lawmakers who generally favor budget cuts have spoken out against the elimination of programs that help with disaster relief. They argue that some parts of the government are necessary, even from a limited government perspective. Now let's move to the next takeaway. Takeaway 7. The chaos is intentional. Supporters of DOGE argue that the disruption it is causing is not a mistake, but a necessary part of the plan. They believe that government is too large and too resistant to change, so the only way to truly reform it is to break it apart and rebuild from scratch. This approach is similar to what some businesses do when they want to transform a failing company. They fire large numbers of employees, shut down divisions, and start fresh. The idea is that the old system is too broken to fix, so it must be destroyed first. For example, DOGE has fired large numbers of career government officials at once. This makes it much harder for future administrations to bring back old policies, ensuring that the changes remain in place even if political power shifts. Now let's move to the next takeaway. Takeaway 8. What Democrats should learn. Instead of just opposing DOGE, Democrats need to understand why so many Americans support it. A large part of the public sees the government as slow, inefficient, and wasteful. If Democrats want to counter DOGE, they need to offer solutions for making government work better. Simply saying that DOGE is bad is not enough. Many voters support the idea of cutting bureaucracy, so Democrats must show how they can improve government efficiency without destroying essential programs. For example, instead of just defending agencies like USAID, Democrats could propose ways to make them more efficient and accountable. If they fail to address voter frustrations, they risk losing the debate. Now let's move to the next takeaway. Takeaway 9. The symmetry with past progressive efforts. Ironically, the way DOGE is operating is similar to how past progressive movements expanded government. Just as some left-wing administrations rapidly grew federal programs, DOGE is using the same tactics to shrink them. The method is the same, but the direction is different. For example, Franklin Roosevelt's New Deal created massive government programs almost overnight. DOGE is now using a similar approach, but in reverse, tearing institutions down instead of building them up. Now let's move to the last takeaway. Takeaway 10. The long-term impact is unclear. It is still uncertain whether DOGE will succeed in reshaping the government permanently, or if its changes will be reversed by future administrations. Some of its actions may be short-lived, while others could have lasting consequences. For example, if major agencies remain permanently dismantled, future governments may struggle to reintroduce programs that were once taken for granted. Whether this is a good or bad outcome depends on one's political perspective. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed watching this video, please leave a like below and share this video in your WhatsApp groups. You can also discuss about this video by commenting below. To get more such videos in your timeline, press the subscribe button below.